Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Russia captures village in Ukraine's Zaporizhia region, even as the West negotiates peace plan to end the conflict. Poland warns the plan must not undermine security of Europe. Amid rising tensions with China, Japan steadily advancing preparations to deploy medium-range surface-to-air missile unit at Camp Yonaguni. And veteran actor Dharmendra passes away. Condolences pour in for the Bollywood icon. President Draupadi Murmu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi pay tributes. European Council President Antonio Costa has said the European Union will keep on supporting Ukraine as peace talks have moved forward. Costa told reporters in a joint statement with EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen after an informal meeting of European leaders on Ukraine in Luanda on Monday, where they are attending an EU-African Union summit.
We welcome this step forward, and some issues remain to be resolved, but the direction is positive. And we commend the efforts of Presidents Zelensky and Trump and their teams. It is also clear that the issues that concern directly the European Union, such as sanctions, enlargement, or immobilized assets, require the full involvement and decision by the European Union. The European Union is committed to continue providing President Zelensky with all the support he needs: diplomatic support, military support, economic support.
EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen said a strong European presence in Geneva has allowed to make good progress in negotiations for peace in Ukraine, adding there is now a solid basis for moving forward.
Ukraine's territory and sovereignty must be respected. Only Ukraine, as a sovereign country, can make decisions regarding its armed forces. The choice of their destiny is in their own hands. I also want to emphasize Europe's centrality in the country's future. We will engage further tomorrow with our partners from the Coalition of the Willing.
Meanwhile, Ukraine's official delegation, which was in Geneva for talks on peace plan, is returning to Kiev. President Zelensky said on Monday, adding that the next steps would be decided soon. Earlier, Zelensky had said that Kiev would continue to work with its partners on compromises on US peace proposal to strengthen, not weaken, Ukraine. Speaking via video link at a Crimean Platform Summit being held in Sweden, Zelensky said Russia must pay for the conflict in Ukraine and that a decision on using frozen Russian assets was crucial. Meanwhile, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk has cautioned no agreement regarding Ukraine should come at the expense of Poland and Europe's security. Tusk underscored the need for vigilance as discussions about potential peace resolutions continue.
I am not sure if we are closer to the peace, because it's not only if it was just our will and our intention, it would be done. But unfortunately, the decision is in the hands of Putin, President Trump, of course, President Zelensky, not only or not mainly in our European hands. One thing is absolutely clear today: Europe is united.
Earlier, EU leaders met informally with African Union in Luanda on Monday to discuss efforts forward in the peace talks on Ukraine. The meeting came as US and Ukraine held negotiations in Switzerland to revise the controversial 28-point US peace proposal that Kiev and several European nations viewed as favouring Moscow. After the first day of talks in Geneva, Washington and Kiev announced they had created a refined peace framework, though details were not discussed. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump commented on Truth Social, cautioning skepticism about reports of major progress in Russia-Ukraine peace talks, but suggesting something good might be developing, ending his message with "God bless America." Meanwhile, the Kremlin said on Monday it would wait to see how talks between the United States, Ukraine on a potential peace plan pans out before commenting. The discussions held in Geneva on Sunday involved a refined peace framework following criticism of an earlier 28-point plan. Russian President Putin indicated that US proposals could form a basis for resolving the conflict, but warned that Russian forces could advance if Kiev rejected the plan. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov emphasized Russia had not received any official outcomes and was monitoring media reports cautiously. President of the European Union, Ursula von der Leyen, opened the EU-African Union Summit in Angola's capital on Monday with major investment pledges across key sectors of the African economy. Addressing the delegates in Luanda, von der Leyen said Europe remains Africa's largest trading partner and is committed to increasing its investment on the continent by 150 billion euros by 2027.
Since our last summit indeed in 2022, the global environment has become harsher, but the relationship between Africa and Europe has only grown closer. Europe is Africa's largest trading partner. 1/3 of Africa's total trade is with Europe. And we are Africa's largest investor with 240 billion euros in 2023 alone. And at this summit, we're boosting our support. The African Development Bank says that a true single market here could increase continental income $450 billion in total. That means massive opportunities for Africa and for the world.
European Union ministers are looking to urge top US trade officials on Monday to cut US tariffs on EU steel and remove them for EU goods. US Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and US Trade Representative Jamieson Greer will meet EU ministers responsible for trade on their first trips to Brussels since taking office. The EU ministers plan to discuss pressing trade issues, including Chinese rare earths and chip exports restrictions.
But we also recognize that more work lies ahead, especially on steels and derivatives, where we seek both to reduce tariff and to confront global overcapacity together. And this is a priority area for the EU, as recently demonstrated by the adoption of our steel regulation to help restore balance to the EU steel market. And finally, we discussed the forward-looking agenda, including critical minerals, where we share the goal of securing reliable supplies while strengthening our respective industrial base.
Shifting focus, Japanese Defense Minister Shinjiro Koizumi told reporters in Yonaguni that the country is steadily advancing preparations to deploy medium-range surface-to-air missile unit at Camp Yonaguni. The move comes as tensions with China continue to escalate. Koizumi stressed the deployment will reduce the possibility of armed attacks against Japan and that he believes it will not heighten regional tensions. The remarks came just days after Japan scrambled fighter jets after China flew a drone between Taiwan and Japan's westernmost island of Yonaguni.
The medium-range surface-to-air guided missile unit planned for deployment at Camp Yonaguni is force dedicated to protect the island's security. We believe its deployment will reduce very possibility of armed attack against our nation and do not consider the argument that it will heighten regional tension to be accurate.
Let's now take a look at other stories making news around the world. Latvian authorities intercepted 8 Met balloons from Belarus carrying 720,000 illegal cigarettes into Latvia. The Interior Ministry said on statement on Monday, Latvian border guards and police coordinated with Lithuanian partners to capture the balloons and continue monitoring the eastern border for further smuggling attempts. Hat Yai, one of the southern Thailand's key economic cities, has been brought to a standstill after days of heavy rains triggered severe flooding. Roads across the city are inundated, cars are partially submerged, and residents are forced to wade through thigh-deep water to move around. The trial of 53-year-old Melis Tabon, accused of poisoning her two daughters, has opened before the Landais Assize Court in southwest France. Authorities say the case has drawn widespread attention as the court begins examining the circumstances surrounding the alleged crime. Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Ayodhya gears up for flag hoisting ceremony. India observes Martyrdom Day of Guru Tegh Bahadur.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. The Ram Janmabhoomi Temple is a sprawling complex with multiple places of worship with other facilities and attractions. Among its unique features is a temple dedicated to Lord Ram's brother, Lakshman, and 7 venerated figures like Maharshis and Ma Shabri, who are also from the same era. DD India's Gautam Roy gets us more.
The sacred flag hoisting in Ayodhya will not only signify the completion of the Sri Ram Janmabhoomi temple, but the entire temple complex is dotted with places of worship, and one of them, quite unique, is right here in front of us. It's called the Sri Sheshavatar Mandir. It is perhaps one of the few, if not the only, temple dedicated to Lord Lakshman, the younger brother of Lord Ram, who went along when Ram was banished from the kingdom of Lord Dashrath, King Dashrath. He went along with Lord Ram's wife, Sita, and him, although he was not banished himself. And Lakshman is believed to be the incarnation of Sheshnag, Lord Sheshnag, the king of serpents. And this is a temple dedicated to him. And further to the south, there is Sapta Mandir as well, which is about all the people who were there in the time of Lord Ram himself. They were Maharshis, and there were revered figures like Devi Ahilya and Ma Shabri as well. And also we had other people associated with him. There are temples dedicated to them here as well. And they will serve as, well, global attractions for people to again come and visit this temple complex, one of the most revered Hindu places, destinations of worship in the world. With camera person Sunil, this is Gautam Roy in Ayodhya for DD India.
The 56th edition of IFFI has housed the iconic Ye Dosti bike from the film Sholay. Today, when the nation mourns the loss of iconic actor Dharmendra, many of the stars, actors, directors rush to the iconic display, remembering the great film that completes 50 years. It is also one of the finest films of Dharmendra. Deepika Mato gets us more from Goa.
As IFFI was already celebrating the 50 years of Sholay, the 50 years of friendship, the 50 years of how Dharmendra and Amitabh Bachchan got onto the screens and created a rage, we got a news that legendary actor Dharmendra passed away. and the entire nation, the entire world, and especially all the visitors here at the 56th edition of International Film Festival of India are mourning the loss. Well, the passing away of actor Dharmendra sent a wave of sadness across the country, with fans, colleagues and stars from the industry deeply shocked with the news. Actor Dharmendra made his debut in the year 1960 and quickly became a superstar. He was known for his versatility, mastering roles from the romantic hero to the tough action star. His career boasts over 300 films, many of which are considered as classics today. Some of his memorable performances include the iconic role of Veeru in the cult classic Sholay, as well as memorable performances in Phool Aur Patthar, Sita Aur Geeta, Chupke Chupke, Dharamveer and Pratigya. This is an irreplaceable loss to not only the country but the entire world. Right now, the bike that you are seeing in front of us is exactly the bike on which the legendary actors Dharmendra and Amitabh Bachchan rode during the super hit film Sholay. This has been restored specially at the 56th edition of International Film Festival of India and talks about the rich history that Indian cinema has. This is one of the restored items that we can see at IFFI, and now this becomes a history, this becomes a legacy. The current edition of International Film Festival of India now remembers the legend Dharmendra with the bike display that was used in the film Sholay. Well, Sholay is undoubtedly one of the most famous Bollywood movies ever, and the iconic song featuring Jai Veeru riding around a motorcycle with a sidecar is equally famous. The 5 minutes song sequence was shot on this bike, and it took 21 days to shoot this particular song.
Hearing about it, or he's been a wonderful artist. जब मुझे अभी पता लगा तो उनकी सारी फिल्में याद आ रही थी.
Truly deeply saddened by hearing the loss of the great legend Dharmendra ji. It's really unfortunate to have lost such a kind-hearted person, such a pure soul.
It's a big loss for Indian cinema. Like धर्मेंद्र जी जो उन्होंने जो काम किया वो उन्होंने स्थापित किया है इंडियन इंडस्ट्री को, सिनेमा को पूरे वर्ल्ड पर. नाउ खैर एज एक वो सत्य है जो हमें एक्सेप्ट करना पड़ता है, बट व्हाट ही हैज डन वो दोबारा नहीं हो सकता.
His natural charm and powerful screen presence earned him millions of fans worldwide. Talking about the awards, Dharmendra was a recipient of the Filmfare Lifetime Achievement Award in 1997, which was an honor to his massive contribution. In 2012, the Government of India honored him with the Padma Bhushan Award. He was last seen in the 2024 movie Tegh Bahadur Mein Aisa Uljha Jiya that starred Shahid Kapoor and Kriti Sanon in lead roles. Restored at the 56th edition of IFFI, everybody now comes here to take a last glimpse of the memories associated with actor Dharmendra as he is no more. With camera person Senthil, this is Deepika reporting for DD India from International Film Festival of India, Goa.
November 24th marks the annual Shahidi Divas or Martyrdom Day of Guru Tegh Bahadur, the 9th Guru of the Sikhs, observed across India in reverence of his supreme sacrifice for religious freedom and human dignity. Here's a report on his life and legacy.
Guru Tegh Bahadur, born in 1621, became the 9th Sikh Guru in the year 1664. At a time of rising religious persecution under the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb, he stood firmly for the rights of all communities, especially the Kashmiri Pandits who approached him for protection. His refusal to convert led to his arrest and execution in Delhi in 1675. This supreme sacrifice now honoured as Shahidi Divas. Revered as Hind di Chadar, Guru Tegh Bahadur is remembered for defending freedom of belief. His teachings, including hymns preserved in the Guru Granth Sahib, emphasizes courage, moral clarity and compassion. Gurdwara Sheesh Ganj Sahib in Delhi marks the exact site of his martyrdom and remains the center of national remembrance. This year carries added significance as communities mark the 350th anniversary of Guru Tegh Bahadur's martyrdom. In Delhi, the government has declared 25th of November as a public holiday. Across Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, Gurdwaras have scheduled special kirtans, prayers and community service program to honor the Guru's ideals. Leaders across faiths say Guru Tegh Bahadur's sacrifice stand as a reminder of India's commitment to pluralism. His legacy inspires conversations on interfaith harmony, resistance against injustice, and protection of fundamental freedom. As the nation observes this solemn day, communities unite in paying tribute to a martyr whose message remains timeless. Bureau Report, DD India.
Time for sports updates. South Africa are in the driver's seat after the end of third day's play in the second and final test against host India in Guwahati. The visitors ended the day on high with a lead of 314 runs. South Africa are none down with 26 runs on the board at stumps. Marco Jansen ran through India's batting lineup one after another to bowl them out for 201. India suffered a dramatic batting slide from 95 for 1 to 201 all out. Only Yashasvi Jaiswal and Washington Sundar provided notable resistance. Kuldeep Yadav battled hard as well, facing 134 balls for his 19, as he and Washington added a gritty 72 run stand for 8th wicket after India slipped to 122 for 7. Marco Jansen ended up with 6 wickets, while off-spinner Simon Hammer returned with figures of 3 for 64. South Africa, having won the first test in Kolkata by 30 runs, are now well positioned to push for a rare test series victory in India. And India continues its outstanding run at the Deaf Olympics, adding medal after medal to reach a total of 20. Pranjali Dhumal shone in the women's 25-meter pistol event, winning the gold medal and taking her overall tally to 3 medals. She had entered the finals after setting a new qualification world record and Deaf Olympics record with a score of 573 out of 600. In freestyle wrestling, India's Sumit Dahiya clinched the gold medal in 97 kg category by defeating Turkey's Saner Omer. Amit added to the tally with the silver medal in 86 kg category. In karate, deaf athlete Loma Swen won India's first ever medal in karate at Deaf Olympics, winning a historic bronze in the Kumite 50 kg category. Striker Morgan Rogers netted a double as Aston Villa fought back from a deficit to beat Leeds United 2-1 at the Elland Road and move into the Premier League top 4. Rogers steered home the equaliser 3 minutes into the second half and then curled in a free kick to ensure come-from-behind victory that catapulted Villa up 5 places and onto 21 points. After failing to win any of their first 5 games of the season, Villa have now won 6 of their last 7. Lucas Nemecha had home side into a lead as Leeds dominated the first half exchanges, but they were blown away by a much better Villa side after the break. The first light of the morning found Montmartre dusted in retreating snow as Paris slowly thawed from its first wintry spell of the season. And that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS. You can scan this QR code and download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.
geopolitics